topic after heredity is culture and behavior. So, what is a behavior? Behavior is actually the combination of hormones and reflex sections. As far as we have studied, because we have studied endocrine system and neurological system, and the combination of neurological system and endocrine system would result into a particular behavior as we have studied. But some behavior are neither due to hormones nor due to reflex sections. This complexity in human behavior is caused due to the impact of culture. So why culture is that much important? We all are a part of society and therefore bound by social norms. If anyone don't abide by these unwritten rules, his behavior would be considered abnormal. For example, hunger is our basic need. But what we eat and how we eat is determined by our culture. Some cultures find vegetarian food good while others favors the non-vegetarian. And nowadays a new culture is also growing up which is known as veganism, in which the individual has to refrain from all the animal products like milk or ghee or anything else. Another thing is how it is eaten. In South India, people eat directly with their hands, which is not prevalent in the North India. So all these differences are due to the impact of culture. Next example would be our clothes or the clothing sense. The clothes we wear are the mirror of our cultural beliefs and values and also our cultural practices. Partner preferences is also one of the example which is determined by culture specifications. So what are the things that are influenced by culture? In fact, all the institutions that are existing in the society are the product of a culture. Hence, a culture consists of a framework of values and a language to express these values. It also provides a certain way of life to its adherents. Culture provides meaning to different relationships and also demarcate the roles performed by different individuals who are in different types of relationships. Like example could be role of a husband in an Indian society and role of a wife. What we expect from a husband in a household, we do not expect that from the wife. So this is the impact of a culture. Culture is owned by every society and it is a label for all the different features that vary from society to society. The focus of psychologists is to find out these differences and the reason behind them so that the true cause of any behavior can be found. After the concept of culture, we will now study how this culture is transmitted. That is called cultural transmission within a particular society. So, as human beings have a highly developed capacity to benefit from past experiences, we have a great learning capacity which is not owned by any other creature in the world as far as we know. We have a developed system of learning called education, and accumulating all this knowledge, like remembering from the past experiences and gaining new things from that education, both these combined, we have two basic processes that are important for attaining a culture. And these are enculturation, and the second process is called socialization. So, what does enculturation means? The word enculturation, en means something that is within, and culture means culture, and this is basically becomes enculturation, means being into a culture. It means all the learning that takes place without direct, deliberate and effortless teaching. The mere availability of certain concepts and ideas makes a person learn them. For example, what is eatable and what not, it can be learned by kids at an early age because of observation. Hence, culture can be transmitted directly or indirectly as we are all part of different or same cultural groups. These ideas are attained as they are accepted by all the members of group or a society, and thus enculturation refers to learning by observation under a socio-cultural context. In Indian culture, respect to elders is a common phenomenon. Hence, the younger generation learns it just by observing their elders or their parents. The second process is called socialization. Socialization means being socialized or being assimilated into a particular social situation. So socialization is a process by which individual acquires knowledge, skills, dispositions or traits which enable them to participate as effective members of groups and society. The process of socialization begins by birth with the appearance of parents. It forms the basis of social and cultural transmission from one generation to the next. Its failure in any society can endanger the existence of that society. An example of socialization can be our linguistic behavior, which means the language that is attained by us primarily is the one in which our parents communicated primarily with us. Another example can be emotional expressions. Different societies have differential patterns of expressions of emotions. Like Indians are considered to be more expressive as compared to Chinese and Japanese people. These emotional expressions are also determined by various socializing agents or socialization agents like parents, school, peer groups, and effects of media are also there. After the process of socialization, we will now study the different socialization agents that are present in our society. So what are socializing agents? The people who relate to us and who live around us, they have a kind of power over us and they socialize us, means they assimilate ourselves in their particular society. These are called as socializing agents. The most direct and significant among them are parents and family members. Children learn to respond in different manners by observing their parents. Parents encourage certain behavior by rewarding the children verbally or in other ways like gifting them new dresses. They also discourage certain other behaviors by not approving them of. They provide the children with a variety of positive experiences, learning opportunities and challenges. Parents adopt different strategies which are known as parenting styles. And there are basically three types of these strategies or three types of styles according to Diana Baumrind, which are authoritative, authoritarian, and permissive parenting style. You can also call it indulgent. So these three types of parenting styles I will be discussing with you. First is authoritative parenting style. Parent is demanding under this authoritative style and they have a high expectation from the children. They expect a mature behavior from the children. They generally forgive the shortcomings that are in the way of learning new things and encourage independent behavior. They are warm and communicating in nature. This results in this authoritative parenting style Authoritative parenting style results in autonomy and self-determination in children. The second one is authoritarian. The typical Asian style of parenting is also called as authoritarian parenting, in which parent is demanding but not responsive as much. They are restrictive in nature. They use different punishment methods which includes corporal punishments like spanking and scolding in a high-pitched volume, and they do not expect any feedback from the children, which results in less social competence in the children and lack of independent decision making. The child becomes conformist and at a later stage they can also suffer from depression and self-blame. The third one is permissive or indulgent type parenting, in which parents is permissive enough but not demanding at all. It has lesser restrictions and more of a friendly atmosphere with parenting. No responsibility is laid on the children, and if went wrong, in any case, the permissive parenting can lead to more impulsivity in kids and also include anger issues. But if refrained from such aspects, the children can be more emotionally secure, independent and willing to learn new experiences if they are reared with permissive type of parenting. Some other type of socializing agents can be schools, peer groups, and media. Schools influence the socialization of the children because the children start the school at very early age and they learn new things, make new friends there, and they start a different kind of atmosphere out of their home within the school. Peer groups are also important because peer groups also influence the tastes and the preferences of the kids during a certain age, which is basically middle childhood. That is a school going stage from 6 to 14 years. The last one is influences of media under this socialization agents category. Media also influences children by providing them different kind of stuff like on TV or on newspapers. Nowadays, social media is also influencing the kids by providing the material related to their tastes and their preferences. So, schools, peer group as well as media, all these are also included under the socialization agents. The last topic under culture and behavior is acculturation. Acculturation means addition of some other culture to your original culture, that is called acculturation. Acculturation refers to cultural and psychological changes in your behavior that results from contact with other cultures. This contact can be direct or indirect. Direct means when one moves and settles down to another country, and indirect through media or other means. It may be voluntary, that means with your own volition, or involuntary, that means if it is imposed upon you. Acculturation can take place any time in one's life. Whenever it occurs, it requires relearning of norms, values and dispositions, and it generally calls resocialization. There is a process of acculturation which includes, first of all, the person gets in contact with another culture, contact with new culture, then a kind of conflict arises in the person. Conflict due to the different norms and values of the existing culture within the person and the new culture that he is faced with. So for this conflict's resolution, the person either adopts some part of the new culture and leave some aspects of his old culture. And in a third way, he just adjusts the old with the new. So this is the process of acculturation. Changes due to acculturation can be studied at two levels. These changes that occur due to this conflict can be studied at two levels. First is subjective level, that means which are related to individual, and objective level, which is the changes seen at a larger aspect. So first of all, the changes that are occurred at subjective level are called as acculturation attitudes. Acculturation attitude means the attitude that the person attain after acculturation. And under objective heading, we study the different strategies that are important for acculturation, or we call it acculturative strategies. So basically there are four acculturative strategies. First is integration, means an attitude in which there is an interest in both maintaining one's original culture as well as attaining some part of the new culture. In this case, there is some degree of cultural integrity maintained while interacting with other cultural groups. Second one is assimilation. First one was integration. That means adding something to it. And the second one is assimilation. Assimilation refers to an attitude which people do not wish to maintain their cultural identity and they move to become an integral part of the other culture. In this case, there is loss of one's culture as well as one's identity. The third one is separation. Separation includes an attitude in which people seem to place a value on holding on to their original culture and wish to avoid interaction with other cultural groups. That means they respect their culture's separate identity and they don't want to follow the new culture. In this case, people often tend to glorify their original culture. Last one is marginalization. Marginalization refers to an attitude in which there is little responsibility or interest in which one's cultural maintenance and little interest in having relation with other cultures too. In this case, people generally remain undecided about what they should do and continue to stay with a great deal of stress. It means they are marginalized to a certain extent within their own culture and with the culture that is outside around them. So these are the basic topics and concepts regarding to culture and behavior, and we have studied how our culture or another culture which is due to us can affect our internal characteristics as well as our external behavior. That's all for now, and in the next session we will be revising chapter 1 as well as chapter 2 for your unit test.